Hi there, welcome to grails-kml-plugin part 2. I'm going to do a brand new install of the site. Well, not necessarily a brand new install, but I'm gonna talk. Should we do a brand new install? Yeah, let's do a brand new install. So we're gonna create a Grails free application 338, I think it is. Test KML. In test KML, we're going to enable this new plugin. So in this, sorry, not in this, so it's in the documentation. So we're going to enable, that's full screen, the actual plugin that does the KML parsing that we've just watched on the first video. So that's running for me locally. I'm going to publish this in a minute once I've finished these videos. That's all we need to add to there, and then we need to, if I actually open it up in here, so what we've done is we've added one compile line, KML, this one here. Then we're going to change the configuration, and we're going to copy over from here. Application.groovy into the conf folder. You create a file called application.groovy. Inside of it, you put your Google key, so the Google key is you will need this. Nothing will work without your Google API key, and that needs to be enabled. Map has API enabled, so if you have that API feature enabled, make this true, otherwise false, and you get the map like me, the developer console, when it does load up. But without a key, you can't do any resolving, and none of the maps will work. Max areas is the amount of areas that you want to load. So we want to, let's say, load 40 areas, and max distance is the amount of distance you want to look for local areas. So we want to look for 90, and that was this thing here where so the max amount of areas and the max amount of distance to look for areas. Enable map lookup is true. This is to do with when you do the postcode lookup, which is the lookup service. So when it loaded the map as you put in postcode, if this is false, it won't load in the map. Map has an API enabled. This is more related to the key, whether it has an API feature enabled. GeoMap is the location of your geolights file, and this is in the README of the project. So it talks about getting this geolight city file. If you get this file, download it, unzip it, put the contents of it inside the path. Then you will need a default KML file. The default.kml file, which was from some site that no longer works. So you'll have to download this raw file locally and put that into this location. KML country, UK, you need this, this is where the file belongs to for us. You need this for the bit that sort of parses in, because it adds it to the local areas domain class locally. So it's just a workaround for now, because it's only got the names as it's written in the file. History, you need to create this folder. You probably need to create these folders, make sure they're all created. And that's the name of the file that you've just seen on that thing that here. Yeah, so that's the name of it. And reset from default, this is set to true for me because of if you're doing it through H2, the DB running internally, you want it to load in all the entries back into memory. And in order to do that, we've enabled this, which basically resets this file and regenerates all the entries from that file and basically goes through this process. What I've also done on the test site, on the other test site, is I've enabled logback for the plugin. So I saw some trace logs, or just like traces, or logs of the application. So in test KML, we're going to add these to my logback. I'll upload the other project. So if I update this project on GitHub, the link to the test project will have these logs. Oh, it has changed. Yeah, that's changed. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. And that's all there is to this site, to the actual site that we do. Beyond that, we need to get some files into place for it to work, which was those geo files and all the rest of it. So this isn't test KML. This was a project that we created. The only thing that's obviously wrong about this project is this key is wrong, because we do need a physical key to work, but I can't show you that key. Otherwise, you'll have my key. So what we've got is another process, which is a backup of the file, which can go into there, and you won't see the content of it now because I won't show you. That's as simple as it is. But the only thing that's changed about that is the fact that I've got the key. Now, what we need to do is go into opt KML plugin. So what we're going to do is going to move KML plugin as KML plugin .alt sudo mkdir KML plugin map KML history. Okay, so basically the user that owns the folder needs to be the user that runs the web application. Now we need to put that geo file, so geo like 2city.mmdb inside now, and we need to put the default file from KML folder into the KML folder. We probably should run a challenge again. And if we look inside KML file now, KML plugin now, we've got a map folder which has those entries, and inside KML we've got that. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch this folder. We're going to go to test KML now, which was our new demo project that we've created. This one here. And as you can see, we've just done a few things, and then we're just going to do grails clean and then run out. So let's just start up the site now. We should start seeing some logs from the application. Oh, yes, we forgot something, didn't we? If I follow my own instructions, I would have we got to add this to our bootstrap. So inside test KML, init bootstrap, inside the init process, and import the class, and off we go. So when if you wanted to use this for yourself, really what you'd want to do is everything is provided to you through the plugin, and obviously the lookup is the default thing that I've shown you. But you'd literally need to have a look inside the plugin and look inside the GSP page, which does the lookup. Because the map part of it, I'm not sure what you're going to change. I've given you the whole part that allows you to edit the KML file. It's quite complex, and even the lookup is quite complex. And what I've done is I've created an assets file, JavaScript called address map, which does all the map attempts of the address, because there's a file called a template called address.gsp, and this is the bit that does the address lookup. So I think this is a sample and it gets loaded in blank by default, but you could take the content of this and whichever bits that are relevant for your address lookup, reuse this in your application directly. As long as you've got the plugin installed, it should just work. You could just copy the page locally and change whatever you want about it. So all of this stuff here, see here now, like this is now starting up, and you can see the files are growing over this side as it's going through, and it's splitting up that default KML into all the different areas that exist in the UK. So at the moment, that log being enabled is showing us what's going on, which is the few different processes in the plugin sort of triggering, and first of all the reading the file, then adding it to the main class, and then also adding it to geomap listener, which is a local listener as such for all of these different KML files, and they actually get loaded into memory to then be able to do postcode lookups the quickest way. So when you put in a postcode, it goes through the memory. These KML files, it looks at boundary information and tries to figure out which boundary information closest match the postcode that it resides in as such. Does that make sense? So that's the site now started up. And if we go to here, we should no longer see Bradford 1 because Bradford 1 is deleted now, because remember we've deleted everything, but Bradford works. So this is now the new site, and we test it. Hello. Oh, I get this problem a lot. I think it. Don't like that. Oh, yeah. So I'm not sure why this happens, but found by doing this on the layouts page fixes the problem, I think. Okay. Yeah. Right, so that's the new plugin now working. As you saw there, I was updating this file, which is test.kml. And if we go to the map part, we will not see we will see Bradford because it's recreated the files anyway, but it's no longer got the dodgy entries that we added before because all the files are gone anyway. And it's obviously started up from scratch, and everything would be like you have coded it yourself. So that's the second part, showing you from a brand new site how you get this all going. I'm going to do a further video which is going to go into the plugin and how it kind of hangs together and what goes on. I'll try and remember what that part of it does. It's quite complicated. To be honest, the whole plugin is based on work over many different years for different projects. I've initially started as a way to resolve from a postcode to city information and perhaps some very basic information. I worked on another project they wanted to do address lookups from a postcode, and as well as that, they wanted to be able to control communities or boundaries, which is where all the boundary information came in afterwards. I'm not sure how I got it all to work, but sometimes you just put your head down and it works. I'm going to do a further video now. Thank you very much. Bye bye.